Everyone except for one person knows Touhou is a series of bullet hell virtual shooting games created by Team Shanghai Alice. And is comprised of our god, Zun. With the release of the demo last week, it is now up to 19 games. Who has actually played the demo so far? Not even a quarter of the room. And yes, there still continues to spawn the largest dojo content base for a series. Our Lord and Master. As last we checked on him, he was still drinking heavily, and even during the Touhou earthquake, he was using it as an excuse to get cheap beer because bars were doing 50% off during blackouts. So he was using that as an excuse to get wasted. And as you will soon see, he was putting that to good use in the demo because the art is amazing.
So we've come a long way through all the many years we've been working on Touhou. It started out not really as a big commercial venture. It was just, Zun was at a university and he was in a student group with a group called Amusement Makers making games, and he just sort of put them as little minor student games back in 1996. Long way from now. The first game, very different from the games that we're playing now. It was more of a breakout, arcade type game where you're trying to knock tiles away. Very different from the bullet hell that we know now. Reached it pretty quickly. The second game had already reached a bullet hell sort of mechanic. We've stuck in that for the most part since. We've had a few other games thrown out, like fighting games, but for the most part we've had a lot of bullet hell. There have been 6 side games, 3 of which were the fighting games that I just mentioned. The first 5 games were from a different system than they are now. It was for the PC-98, and he put out all 5 of them over just 3 years. And after that, took some time off, find some more alcohol. Took him about 4 years to find enough. And he came back with the embodiment of Scarlet Devil for Windows. Got a few Scarlet Devils out here, I see. So since then, since Scarlet Devil, 1 game or more sometimes has been coming out about yearly since that release. So you can see some of the examples of how it's changed. Having trouble with it. Long, long ago, in a system far, far away in Tokyo, we had the breakout game, and you controlled the yin-yang orb in the middle and bounced it wildly up. This is hardly responsive to players, highly responsive to prayers. And after that, look, it's Danmaku. You've got the top scrolling instead of just a single frame running back and forth. You've got monsters flying down the screen at you. You've started getting PowerPoints. I think that from the first game, but you can actually fly around on a turtle and shoot instead of run desperately back and forth at the bottom of the screen. And it developed since then into a few more bullets as the games got more and more elaborate. A few more details into things until we reached the Windows, when there was a huge change. And not everything was pixel art and lower grade. We actually got 3-dimensional backgrounds as soon as we hit the Windows system. After he took that break, we actually had a big jump in graphics quality. And in those years since that jump in graphics quality, we've had even more jumps. We still have the same wonderful art style, but the general aesthetics have had a much larger overhaul since then, until our most recent, which is, oh come on, the name. There we go. So, since only about a quarter of you have played it, who wants to see it?
Who wants to be our lucky victim?
It's kind of like the idea of a basement universe, and that it used to be part of our world and it was sealed away because with modernization in Japan, people stopped believing in yokai and spirits. So in order for them to be protected, they were given a little section of land, kind of like a reservation, and put in there with some of the local people. to be sealed away so they wouldn't be completely exterminated. And of course, with all these different spirits and yokai and everything all crammed into this little place, there's always something going wrong. So every Touhou game is some incident or another has come up that the main characters have to go out and try to solve it as best they can, usually by beating people up. So I lost my train of thought here. Okay, there are a lot of characters in Touhou. What is it now? 130.
Wow.
Well, last Touhou popularity poll 8 was 120 characters. And then the demo currently releases 2 more, and depending on how things go, it's up in the air. Maybe 134 after 13 actually finishes.
Is that counting Ibarra Kasen?
Oh, yeah. You're counting Kasen? I like Kasen. She might be an Oni.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't care. Count.
Okay, this is Reimu Hakare, the main character. Well, the main character of the series that started off in the original game, Highly Responsive to Prayers, and has been in almost every one except, I believe, 2. Okay. And she's the shrine maiden of the Hakare Shrine, which has pretty much fallen into disrepair because she's lazy. But she's water. She's not really out to be a heroine. She just kind of forced into it more or less. So yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. This is the other main character, Marissa Kirasame, and she's
more popular.
Yeah, she was the main enemy of the second game, the first actual scrolling shooter game, and she's been in practically every game since then as a playable character. And her favorite things are stars, mushrooms, especially the ones that boost her magic power, lasers, which should make Gundam envious, and stealing things, and love. And as you can see, the art has changed quite a lot through the series. Over there on the left side, we have some of the first. What is this? Here we go. Yeah, this is how it started out. You know, Marissa used to have red hair, and it's gotten progressively better a little bit. These are the ones from 13. As you can see, it's he's slowly becoming an actual artist.
So to get a better example of the variation in costumes beside this, how about all the Raimis and Marissas come up? Come on over here.
Yeah, because in every game their costumes are slightly different.
Get a picture.
Oh!
Safe.
Alright. So, you guys are wondering wonderful, but unfortunately you're not the only characters. Not even playable characters. We've got a lot more that have made cameos as playable characters in different games. We've had, I don't think we have any Sanais here, which is a recent surprise playable character, but we have had the new surprise character, Yomu. I thought I saw one in the back. Yomu, your time to shine has come. Sakura has also been a playable. You guys had your own game starring you.
We need some type of representation up here, please.
What about Phantasmagoria?
I'm the strongest. It was already settled. Well, someone stupid.
Also, Yuka was playable in the PC98 games.
Yuka, we played as you on the old system. Mima was playable even. PC98 trumped off Jump Strength.
Let's do that instead.
Yuka, head on up. You were a playable character.
Yeah, Mystic Square.
Rayson was playable in Phantasmagoria Flower View.
There were a lot of playables in Phantasmagoria Flower.
There will be a photo shoot going on at the end, so this is just playable characters for now. Oh yeah. Photo shoot at the end.
I can easily freeze you and off your dumb frogs. You're mine. No, you're the stupid one. Stupid.
Alright. Y'all can go back to your seats.
Have just about any sort of imaginable setup with different characters interacting with each other. The world itself is very open-ended, so any sort of story you could think of, there's a pretty good chance you could interpret it into a Touhou type theme. It feeds on itself. Like, because people will get into Touhou because of the things that they find in it, they'll actually get drawn into it and themselves start building up more stuff as well. So it creates a never-ending cycle that pretty much supports itself. It's fantastic because we know it's going to be going strong for a while here. The other great thing is that we have Zoom, our God support, in pretty much everything we do. There's a few things he's a little bit suspicious of, but he personally approves of the good nature of what we're doing here.
One of these days, he's gonna bring Mima back.
Yeah, it's when the final boss of the new game returns. So the other popular thing, just beyond drawn artwork, is the music base when it comes to Touhou. It is incredible. So, there's over roughly 800 gigabytes of music, 890 gigabytes of music that you can find pertaining to Touhou. All of it is which is 70 to 90% of it that's actually been uploaded. There's a lot more out there that just simply hasn't even been found yet.
What the pictures we have up here are for is actually a giant concert that happens over in Tokyo every year called Flowering Night. It's an entire 1 to 2 day concert. This year it's 2 straight days pertaining only to Touhou music. It's a massive, massive concert that they put on. So, yeah, I wish we had one here.
So, besides the music, people also are constantly using that music and developing it in a lot of fan-made videos, some of which get so popular and so viral that, look, even not very smart people can figure out that it's popular.
It's a horrible news site. Booking Press is way better coverage.
I'm sure Fox News would be able to do a more factual report on it, but sometimes you've just got to be happy that someone notices you exist. Goodbye.
Get down.
So So besides spawning its own memes, Touhou of course milks pretty much every other meme out there on the internet in pop culture. Going anywhere from Get Down to Nyon 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 Forever song to the Durarara ending, Mihanyan. Any meme you can think of, there's almost guaranteed a Touhou video, Touhou fan art, something parodying it. So on top of that, and other than parodies, we also have our own original animations, a lot of which come out. We've had a few more in recent years that have popped up. The two on the right are some relatively recent ones. Kinamakan down the corner.
And then the one on the top right is Subterranean Rose, which came out, I think, last year. Yeah, it might have been either really late last year or really early this year.
Still pretty recent. So besides videos, there's also, if you really don't like how the Touhou games themselves play, maybe not so good, stuck on easy mode, fortunately, you have kind of a large selection of anything you could possibly want to play.
1,000 produced. And only 787 of them were adults, so yes, a large portion of it is at just them doing normal things. But in order to counteract that, for what we personally have seen, there are only 689 scanlations of the entire range of Touhou regular doujins. And then in comparison, for H doujins, what has been scanlated is a couple thousand, and then about a couple hundred of those are in English. So yeah, there's a bit of a large disparity over what gets focused for being scanned, sadly. The Western presence, yes. Not all everything produced is made in Japan. We do have our own stuff that we make. We have basically the most well-known Western present, Walfus. Yes. Then we have another Dream, which that's not in production anymore, is it?
Yeah.
They do infighting, yes. Then we have the Aki Sister Anthology, which was released, was it C76? Summer?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. This is because no one loves it. No one even really remembers the Aki Sisters. And there, as you can see, there's no cosplayers of them also. So, yeah. Then we have our own fan art and doujinshi artists like I don't know Mahler. Who else do we have for those?
Hi, I'm sitting next to you.
Who are you again?
Hockey sister. Apparently.
Yes. Then we also have like Cookie, who ran a like 60 page comic about something happening in Soka, just like everything else.
There was fighting involved.
Yes.
It usually is.
And then of course, mainstream, the Guinness Book of World Records Gamer Edition. Yeah, gamers. It is the most prolific fan-based shooter series. Very specific. But of course, in the history of just like CNN screwing up, they said they had a picture of Mountain of Faith labeled as perfect cherry blossom. Either way.
Those idiots.
Either way. No one can get things right. So where will Touhou Project go from here?
I think you can only continue forward as far as that's concerned. Anywhere you can imagine, pretty much, fantasy is going. Can only go up? I think you can go past that.
And also from what I can tell, I think the Western presence is going to become more popular in the future. It's going to have more of an influence and start to actually be recognized in Japan.
I just want more doujinshi. All I gotta say.
Yeah, get out and actually try to create stuff because it's fun and there's a lot of support for you. So, yeah.
Actually, yeah, a lot of the comic book artists that I actually pay attention to, a lot of the doujins I read, most of those people only actually started in the past year or two, so that's a lot of the more impressive ones that are set up actually things that are inside of the fan base pretty canon. So yeah, if you guys get out there, make some of your own stuff. That's what's becoming popular right now.
And no matter what, Zune himself has stated that even if the fan base completely died, he would still make games. So no matter what happens, there will always be Touhou.
Like we have to let the fan base die, right?
Damn straight.
Who's gonna make the games when Zun is gone?
Q&A time.